Hey yo, do you mind if I start recording?
Yeah.
Well, something I never thought I'd see.
What?
Brian Sitnick's remains being placed right now in repose at the United States Capitol building with a service flag being laid there right now by I think it's DC Honor Guard, I believe. Yeah, and why did that happen, yo? Why are we paying respects to a fallen officer?
People got mad shit crazy. Yeah.
Got or has been. Got or allowed to be. I know,
Ooh.
that's where I go. I know.
Whom is the the subject
Oh,
here?
and there goes the feed. See, the thing for me, man, and this is what Erin keeps yelling at me. Not yelling at me, but she keeps telling me to use my powers for good. That when I focus on negative, it only begets negative, and that's what happens. It's the inability to comprehend the reality of what you're seeing can lead to a negative emotion, and more negative begets more negative. Being unkind, only brings in our aspect of it only brings more negative things your way. If you're kind, kindness will trump all. Goodness will trump all if you believe it and if you work to aspire to it. But I don't know, man. Tinfoil hat on, full disclosure, and I can't stop talking about it, even though I really want to. Part of me doesn't because I just don't understand it, and with my inability to understand it, I have to talk it through it. So
Yes.
when you go and you look at, and I had another podcast about this one or recording, whatever the fuck I'm calling them, about looking at who the sergeant at arms works for, who they report
Who
to.
is the sergeant at arms?
Sergeant at arms is in charge of defending the Capitol at all costs,
Oh, okay.
and they're in charge of the detail of the Capitol Police, which are a different police force. And I think there's something I gotta look it up. I used to know this off the top of my head back in the day when I was a smart boy, but then medical marijuana comes around and whoops. DC police organizations.
But you didn't join the DARE program in high school, huh?
I know I totally did. I was in the Silver Ring Thing Club. I was about abstinence. I didn't smoke my first marijuana cigarette until I was like, I think 19, 20. I was all about like potheads are stupid, even though my dad smoked, and then I realized that like, oh, oops. This is not so bad if used in moderation, like any other substance that
Yeah.
I believe in. I'm not going to say coke or heroin or ecstasy or LSD or mushrooms because I haven't had any fuck or psilocybin. I haven't had any personal
Dude,
exposure to any
anything.
of those. But
Chicken. If you use chicken in moderation, fine. If you're eating 100 chickens a day,
what's wrong with 100 chickens a day? The president ate it.
you, you gotta be
Come on,
sick.
man. No, everything in moderation for sure. The Metropolitan Police Department of DC, District of Columbia. The Metropolitan Police. There's 38,000 officers. There was something. Oh, where the fuck is it? I'm not gonna find it in time. There's something like I think 15 organizations of police departments. Organizations. There's a ton. It's more than one would expect for a city. Preliminary law enforcement in DC. The United States Marshal Service, the United States Park Police, the United States Mint Police, the United States Capitol Police, the Metropolitan Police Department of the District of Columbia, the United States Secret Service, the District of Columbia Protective Services Division. Primary DC law enforcement include District of Columbia Department of Corrections, District of Columbia Housing Authority, District of Columbia Metropolitan Police, District of Columbia Protective Service. Like he just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. There's so many different organizations. What I don't understand is if you go back and you look at the Sergeant of Arms, they report to the Speaker of the House and the minority majority leaders, who at the time were upset and embarrassed by what the nation went through in July. I think it was June or August. I can't recall the month it was where President Trump and Steve not Steve Bannon, the other one, William Barr,
Barr.
Attorney General William Barr, gassed the protesters to walk across the street to hold a Bible upside down for a photo op. So they didn't want to have another foobar of a
I think that was a few weeks before Juneteenth.
They didn't want to have another foobar.
So like June 5th, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, they didn't want to have another foobar of organizational breakdown, and they didn't want to have another political stunt. So they thought, nah, we'll stand down on this one, even though to get the ability to have the rally, you had to file permits with the city of DC to be approved, which the mayor and the operations committee approves, and then the police and the NSA and the FBI vet. Like there's logistics of how parades and gatherings work in cities. They're not just like, we're gonna have something here today, and then it's like, fuck, a lot of people showed up and we had no idea. Like they knew this was going to happen, but they willfully said, we don't want to make it look bad, so we're not calling in the appropriate forces. And then they gave to the Republicans and some Democrats, from what I've been reading, could be wrong, gave tours the day before in a federal building, while federal buildings are closed to the public due to the pandemic. So, like, I don't understand, man.
I think you gotta put a mask when you get that close to the mic.
I'm still 6 feet from you, so it's okay.
At least you're between 6 feet and 4 miles.
We have to laugh it off.
Exactly right. And I think part of that is, and I think there's more that will be discovered. I think it's too early to jump to a conclusion because we don't have the data. We have a lot of hearsay and not really an official source to provide timeline of events. Well, at least not that I'm aware of. Maybe they made one, but I'm not.
No, there are really well accounted of timeline of events. Do you know why? Because the insurrectionists brought their phones.
Oh no! I mean, in the police.
Yes, official. No.
The like the National Guard, like all of that, like what happened. And how
Bro, it's the same thing with the Kennedy assassination or any governmental thing. We're not going to know until it's declassified and we know years to come. But because we have the past, and that pipe looks super sexy. Man, I miss fucking hanging out with you. Because we have the past.
You have a pipe.
I know, but I don't have any weed. Because we have the past, and we understand that if we don't learn from it, we're doomed to repeat it. And we know that the government, like any government, has power. They're not going to tell the people, honestly, at every moment. I mean, look at, again, this is coming from the guy that has been wearing 2 masks, wearing a bandana and something else to the best of his ability since he's been able to get his hands on stuff. And since then has been able to wear 2 masks everywhere he goes, just as a precaution before now, a year into the pandemic, the CDC is going to spend time to investigate. Should we be wearing 2 masks? Like, you think? If you can't get a KN95, you think having a cloth mask that's double thick or having a little surgical mask or something underneath and a cloth mask might help? Anything extra might help? Maybe. I don't know. The same people that are responsible for that are the ones that told the American people, don't buy a mask. Instead of, hey, real talk, we don't have enough supplies right now, so we're going to use the Defense Production Act. We're going to hook everybody up. In the meantime, all of you right now, I'll wait here at the podium. Don't run. Walk to your bedroom. I'll wait. Okay, you're back? Great. In your bedroom, go ahead and take a look for the old t-shirt. One of the oldest t-shirts you've had. Not one of your favorites, just an old one that you're always going to throw out. It's like maybe sleep in or you paint in, whatever. Okay, you got that one? Cool.
I have Fold it there in storage boxes.
See? Go grab that. Go grab that. Fold it like this. Cut it like this. Tie it like this. And wear this when you go outside. I don't know if it's going to be enough protection right now. We don't need everyone going out and panic buying. What we need to do is give you guys the appropriate information. Do you have a piece of paper towel in your house? Cool. Here's how you can build a filter. Do you have coffee filters? Here's how you can make a mat. Like, that information didn't come out for about another 2 months after the pandemic started. And then fucking Matthew McConaughey had that little video where he's like, "It's Bobby Bandino. I'm going to teach you how to fight the coronavirus. How to make like a mask with coffee filters and shit." Like, from the jump, we decided to lie to the populace. And whether that was allowed to occur because of the administration in charge, or if that was those of the directors of health and human services and those in the directors of medical science and field, but they all take a Hippocratic oath to do no harm. So even if the president, or even if the administration, one would think, right, the way that the system is set up, if the organization in power says, don't say that, don't say that, the person that is the doctor, the person that is the healthcare provider, etc., owes it to the American people to tell the information correctly and honestly. That's what the doctor is supposed to do. That's what those in charge of health are supposed to do. And they lied. They said, don't worry about a mask. It's not how it spreads. And then, oh yeah, the data, actually, fuck. Yeah, if you guys can find a mask, go for it. But don't take all of them because we need them for the healthcare workers. Oh shit, we don't have enough for them. You know what? No masks. Like, why are we being dishonest to our citizens? Because of our, in my opinion, completely slated and probably unfoundedly wrong. But look at our culture. Look at the way we talk to each other. Look how we use social media. Look at the conversations we have.
I think more than anything, and I think this is something that we are lacking these days a lot. There's a lot of causes, right? So, but if I would prioritize anything, and this goes for any issue, for any side of the debate, is we lack, yet better, we distance ourselves from a sense of curiosity, right? The sense to understand. So even let's say one mask, two mask, no mask, right? These are more than anything the what. This is what to do.
Right.
But I feel like we sometimes lack the curiosity to ask why we do.
Well, that's an interesting.
And then
that's
you're
an
stuck
interesting
between
point.
the narrative, behind the narrative of the closest thing that you find, to your opinion, trustworthy, and you follow that.
That's interesting.
And fortunately, we had people in leadership positions that were not swaying the people who trusted them.
But those people were
for correct stuff.
Those people were in the leadership positions. That's the problem. That's where, in my opinion and my confusion, that's where it starts. It's we, as American citizens, have allowed that type of behavior to propagate. So much so into our politics that while most Americans, I think, if given a national poll, would agree, take money out of politics, specifically take black money out of it, or dark money, whatever you call it. I think dark money, whatever the phrase is. Yeah, 100%. Take dark money out of politics. We should know where all the finance goes, blah, 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 blah. I need to look this up because I don't want to misquote this. I want to look up the definition of what a politician is supposed to be.
Policy. It's a person who makes policy.
A person who is professionally involved in politics, especially as a holder of or a candidacy for elected office. A person who acts in a manipulative and devious way, typically to gain advancement with an organization.
Not a great definition.
No. I thought a politician was someone that was supposed to serve. Yeah, here you go. A person active in political parties or is a person holding or seeking an office in government. Politicians' purpose. Propose, support, and create laws or policies that govern the land and, by extension, its people. And that's supposed to be a service, supposed to be an honor.
Yeah.
And it became a job. It became a corporate. It became full of lobbyists. It became something different. And it's been that way for a minute. Fuck, for Christ's sakes, Reagan said corporations are people too. I know I'm repeating myself in most of my fucking recordings, but my mind, while there's many things to focus on, a lot of them good. My inquisitive mind, my D&D brain, my only child just keeps going to like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah. And not us, not me and you, not the average, I guess, what's an average citizen? We're all average citizens. We're all fucking Americans. It's because we have had jobs and mortgages and rents and kids and school and debt and all this shit that's part of life and it's distractive. But who says, again, now this is where I get communistic. This is where my socialistic comes out, right? Who says our way of life is the correct way? If we're so fucking awesome, if we're the best ever, period, ever, number one, why are people starving? Why are people homeless right now? Why is our nation in some real dire straits? Other countries are fucking soldiering through this pandemic. Like, yep, we got it. It sucks. It's here. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's fix it. Let's solve it. We'll move forward. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Some countries have got their rates down to zero. Now, is that because they're not reporting and they're fixing the books? Who the fuck knows? It's a global pandemic. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But why is our response? Or does it just feel like our response is that bad because we're living in the country and we're losing our sense of context with the outside world because we're only focusing on ourselves? I don't know. Could be that. Could have a lot to do with that. It could be this bad everywhere, but we're not getting the information because we're not there and we're not searching it, right?
Yep.
Could totally be that.
And I think this is one thing that you'll notice once you go, which is interesting.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm so rude. Fucking Nancy and Chuck Schumer just said a prayer in front of Sicknick at the Capitol, and Nancy's wearing her healthcare pin again, and it triggered my brain because whenever they had the fucking State of the Union last year, 3 days or 5 days after Trump on recording to Bob Manafort said about like, it's bad, Bob. You just fucking breathe it in. It's bad. She gave the same fucking State of the Union, and she had the goddamn healthcare pin on her, same fucking lapel pin. I went back and I watched the State of the Union, and I was like, this is awkward. Like listening to Trump about 8 days before the American people understood and were told about the pandemic, like really hitting our shores, what he was saying, what he was focusing on. And like Nancy's wearing a Healthcare United Workers pin as her lapel. And I was like, what the fuck is this? This is a bad video game, right? Like they knew then, and the State of the Union wasn't like, okay, so in like 48 hours, everyone's going to be fucked. It's going to be okay. It's the state's fault. Okay? It's the state's fault. It's like they knew. The little fucking games they play. I don't know. But the Trump said on the record to Bob Woodward. Hang on, let me look it up.
Well, yeah, Trump, but did Nancy and Schumer know?
Well, Jesus Christ, if the president fucking knew, who's getting the goddamn information? You think the Speaker of the House, the third in charge of the presidency, is getting the same information? Well, that's not cool. Just the president's getting classified information, not the third succession order?
I don't know.
Right? We don't know. That's the problem. Nobody fucking knows. They do. They ain't telling us. Would you tell us? Did aliens really land? Do you really think that? What do you think about the Iranian former? I forget the position the guy had that said that aliens exist, and that there's a coalition of aliens. There's a federation of aliens, and they're going to expose themselves. And Trump was going to like blow the lid off there. So this guy in Iran is blowing the doors off, or the former. I see. That's my brain now. That's it. That's a recollection.
I see the smoke's coming out.
It's bad, dude. No, you're smoking over there, and it's coming all the way over here, man. Bob Woodward Trump. A mile a minute, and fucking nothing's coming out, man.
I don't know.
I don't know where we go.
On the news front, I have a theory.
This is going to be good.
Others would agree or add to or disagree. One of my experiences were when I'm overseas, you turn on the news channel, wherever you are, especially if you're in the Middle East, you hear news from around the world. They tell you everything that is happening around the world, right? Now, I'm not going to get into the topic of authenticity of the news reporting in different countries, but the idea is to see what's happening around the world. While in the United States, you turn on the news channel and you only hear about the United States.
Yeah.
You rarely hear about things that are happening around the world, unless it's like of national volatility, like Brexit. We don't even hear about it all the time. Yeah. A lot of people don't probably recognize what happened with Brexit because we only heard about it maybe 2-3 times in the United States, right?
To pivot back real quick, it was January 23rd and January 28th. The president was informed about COVID in 2020. Yeah. The State of the Union was given 2 weeks after. So, whoops.
Can you find out if everybody get classified information, or is it just?
Sure. Let's find out. Continue. Sorry, what you're saying.
Curiosity. Yeah. So that was kind of a dichotomy of knowing what's happening in the world for me. My theory was maybe it's a language thing, since like the Western world, especially the United States, is English, and English is predominantly available all around the world. that people would understand when they hear the news about what's happening here. While if there's something happening in another country, let's say something in Indonesia, and it's what I know Malaysia, they probably speak Cantonese. What do they speak in Indonesian? I apologize for my ignorance.
Mine too, man.
We wouldn't understand, so we wouldn't really. It wouldn't be as prolific as things that are happening in the United States. Some might add, well, the Western world is kind of grabbing a lot of power, and people want to know what's happening with the Western world, so they pay attention to that. But I think language might play a big part in that as well, because people understand English and they understand what's happening in our news.
So much so that because they understand what's happening in our news, the NPR reports that during the State of the Union, roughly a week after being told that the China was withholding data, the Trump said his administration was coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together on the coronavirus outbreak. So in the State of the Union, he references the outbreak. So at that point, if he's referencing the outbreak at the State of the Union, it would be safe to say that those in an official position of power, specifically those in succession to the office of the presidency, would have been briefed in some capacity, not necessarily at the same time as the president, but around the same time as the president. So going to the State of the Union, it is not as if, in my opinion, from the information limited that I can find, the Speaker of the House would not have known, hey, something's up too. It's not like they would just tell the president, like, Mr. President, so it's really bad from China. Okay, so shh, sir, don't tell anybody else. Just keep it to yourself. Like, you're the fucking leader. How many people in the United States military, the NSA, the Secret Service, not detail, the information networks knew to bring you that information, sir? Like, hey, found something. It doesn't just go to you. The office is bigger than one man.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to sit there and watch the State of the Union now and see like her with the healthcare Le Pen and be like, the fuck? Arrogance. The arrogance. And we're going to do what's right for you guys and we're going to take care of you. And really? 2 fucking checks? Okay, so you stopped rent evictions, right? Okay, you put a moratorium on there, so you can't be thrown out. Then why are people getting thrown out? Okay, so everyone's going to get food, right? Why are lines for food banks the longest they've ever been since the fucking Dust Bowl? And how are you doing? You're fine. I'm good. How many people have access to fucking put on YouTube right now on a phone or a laptop that's been charged to listen to stupid shit like this? Fucking watching Joe Rogan downstairs biking in my basement. Not in the apartment that I own, the one that I'm renting. The power's on. The heat's on. Our water works. Our dog's fed. My wife and I are fine. I mean, everybody's going a little bananas from trying to be as socially distant as possible and caring about their friends, but we're not sitting here in the dark thinking the bubonic plague is here and it's the end of days, but we're also, my heart breaks for people that in my same fucking city, in the same zip code, man.
That are a lot less fortunate.
And have always been less fortunate, and unfortunately may always and continue to be unless we do something to change it. But yet here we are, 2 males just gabbing about, we need to change something. And what are we doing? Fucking nothing. Cathartic release, but what are we really doing?
Running for office?
That's where it starts, man. And I swear to Christ, I keep thinking about it, dude. I know I don't have the background or the training, but I have the fucking passion, and I want to help others, and I got to do something, dude. Couldn't you fucking see me? Couldn't you see me just, I object, Senator, right, just screaming all the fucking time, filibustering my ass off. I'm going to read you the rules from 5th edition. Chapter 1, to create a character. Just fucking going through all the rules for D&D as I'm just like breaking a filibuster. Like, fuck, man.
I think reflecting back on everybody, well, not everybody, some people in Congress, I would say experience is not required.
It's been 1 year. It's been 1 year. Nearly 1 year. What was your last year like? If you could sum up emotionally, physically, mentally. Oof. Yeah. Again, long form. There's no quick answer. If you could go from starting with February, knowing that we were still meeting face to face, hugging each other, making Wookiee noises, playing D&D, being civil, disobedient little rascals while trying to keep our jobs going, and then all of a sudden,
right and left.
All of a sudden, everything is reset.
Yep.
What what did you go through? Because you're in a completely different situation.
Mm-hmm.
What does it feel like with just a couple of cats? Not that I am discouraging Mumbles or Cheeto in the least bit.
Oh my gosh.
But what has your year of self-induced quarantine and isolation for the betterment of your fellow citizens been?
Mm-hmm. I think initially, in my mind, it was, hey, this is 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, right? It's something that you learn as you do, and I guess that's kind of what made it less stressful, I think, in the beginning, because you're like, hey, this is momentary. Things are gonna happen. Things are gonna go back, and then we're back, and it's almost like a fleeting moment, if you will.
Interesting.
And right as we passed the quarantine, which is
It's like mid
the Italian word for 40. Quaranta, right? And this is where the quarantine came from, because you isolate yourself for 40 days.
So funny, also 40 days and 40 nights. It's what the rain came for Noah. Interesting. Yeah, 40 days and 40 nights of rain. Yeah.
Oh, so he floated for 40 days, whatever Italian word for days is.
Yeah, the more you go back and look at different religions, the more they all bleed together. Everyone has a creation story. Everyone has a virgin birth. Everyone has a type of Messiah figure. They're all. And,
Wait,
and
all 40?
yeah. Oh, and that's why I like. Again, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry to interrupt. That's why I call this late off topic, because my fucking brain just shoots it out. It's interesting to me that so many times throughout history, different leaders of religions will claim that their religion is number one, and then they will go to war and wage war in the name of religion. But it's like, if your God is what they say that they are, and they are merciful and created you in their image and their likeness, and are all loving and inspiring, and you're the children of them, why the fuck would they tell you to kill another? Like, okay, whatever, sure. But anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah.
So we get to the 40. We get to the 40.
Religion can be a whole another topic, but so once we got to the 40, and things are not hopefully. I think we started to course correct a little bit by then, like with the mask, with the self-isolation, with the lockdown, and all that stuff. Just like,
the ways of
I think
working.
we started to take it a little more serious, and we got to understand the weight of it.
For those of us that could, they were allowed to adapt. Those of us that had jobs that relied on the field were either completely dismissed, as if, yeah, you're fine, fuck off.
Critical.
Oh, just file for unemployment, it's okay. Or, we need you to keep swinging, just get out there. Like, get out there with what? There's no direction. What the fuck am I supposed to do? So it wasn't even unanimous off the jump. It wasn't as if everybody, 40 days, whatever, just stay home. We got you. There's food coming. Bezos, you know what? I am suspending all business. I will be providing sustainable food for every American citizen in every city with my logistic plan. Here comes my rollout. It's on me. And he gets a subsidy from the fucking U.S. government. Everyone's like, Jeff Bezos is the fucking man. Bezos for president. Yay! Like, we have all these great corporations around us that could do these logistical things. But they got bailed out first. Sorry, go ahead. Gotta have the jobs for the people to go back to that they're not gonna go back to.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are mixed in the bag when it comes to what's long-term, what's midterm, what's short-term.
And how you prioritize it.
And who's making the decisions that cares about what.
Well, at that time, good luck figuring out who's making decisions, because I don't think anybody knows. And it's clear right now that with the new administration that nobody knows who the fuck was doing what.
Swing in the dark. This is something that I think, like with the direction in general, as long as there's kind of a single point of, and I know this is probably going to be a contentious word to use, but a single point of truth. And what that means is, hey, this is, and you can validate, but what we need to follow, what we have the direction here. And instead of having everybody do it different, because once everybody starts to do it different, then everything starts to break down because nothing matches.
Like GameStop.
And I understand it's like, hey, we don't follow, like, I understand. But if you want to affect change on a scale like we need to do with the pandemic, you need to limit all sources of information and direction, not in the sense of putting you in the dark, but to lessen the confusion and make sure we are on a clear path that continue to be validated.
I forget
People can scrutinize it,
right.
but let's have one source of information.
I forget where I heard this, but it was that COVID-19 exposed the world's pre-existing conditions. It became an unintentional or intentional, however conspiratorial you want to get, which whatever, man. A way to
a stress test.
Yeah,
of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not that it's anything that we didn't understand could happen, and that science had alerted. Well, this is just science speaking. Patterns and trends. We're coming up on a century, and every century there seems to be something that happens, and the ice caps fucking melted, man. Mm-hmm. You don't think with the most people ever on the history of this planet, ever, that Mother Earth would be like, reset. Like, the planet's going to take care of itself. It's self-sustaining. It has been here and will always be here. I don't care what religion you look at. I don't care how your creation story is. I don't care if it was made in 7 days or if it has been in existence from the beginning. We are made of stardust. We will return to stardust. The planet is. The phrase, "it will be," has full 100% weight and connection to me, to the earth. The earth will be. She's going to spin until the sun erupts, and we won't see her stop spinning for 7 minutes after the sun engulfs it. It'll take 7 minutes for sunlight to reach us. When our candle goes out, we won't be able to blow out our birthday and eat our cake for 7 minutes. That's it. And it's going to be. And she used to have animals that ate each other that were called dinosaurs. And they're still here. They're called birds, alligators, and crocodiles. Fucking rhinocerosauruses, aardvarks. Like, she's still supporting that quality of life. We, if you believe in evolution, came from that form, like, to naively think that we can have these many humans on a planet and it's self-sustaining. With the way that we're living, we completely bulldoze cities and repurpose it with concrete. We then erect massive amounts of buildings that go upward, and we forget to live with the land. Speaking of living with the land, was that Cheater or Mumbles? Who was talking? Mumbles!
He probably wants to jump on.
He's like, speaking of dinosaurs, I am the gateway to the afterlife. My people.
He's like, dinosaur, I'll take care of your dinosaur.
My people I know things no human will understand, and I have 9 lives, bitch. Hi, Mumbles. God damn it, I miss that cat so fucking much.
Look at that.
Classy man. Listen to his purr. Mumbles, you're the man. Don't tell Cheeto I told you that.
Can you hear the purr?
Cool, great. Now we're going to turn this into a cat ASMR video. Thanks, yo. That's how you get the subscriptions, man. That's how people tune in.
I'll put the cat next to the mic.
Oh, God. I listened to one the other day, and this guy was like, "It's a quiet rainstorm. I'm going to read you a book now." And I was like, who the fuck listens to an hour of somebody whispering in their head? But, I mean, apparently there's a big market for it, man. You know?
You know what there's a market for right now?
Everything.
Because, well, at least I discovered ASMR through YouTube, and I think the biggest market for ASMR is through YouTube. The problem, though, is ASMR is you're whispering into the mic, and the intention is you would blast your audio and the video, right, to capture the sound so you're hearing it. But then those ASMR folks that are making these videos, well, they want their creators, and they would want to monetize their creation. And midway, you're listening to ASMR blasted audio. Boom, an ad comes in, ripping your ears apart.
Hey, yo. I
we need
think
ASMR ads.
I was going to say, I think you just stumbled on a new job. I think you just stumbled on a brand new company. You specifically
Dollar Club, Dollar Shave Club.
Exactly.
Get your set.
It's just you just hear like, I'm using my new razor from Dollar Shave Club. It's amazingly close to the skin. whisper. Like you could fucking make your own company producing all ASMR content.
Ads.
Yeah, dude. Because before you even got 2 words in your sentence, I saw where you were going. I was like, yeah, I can't imagine what that's like. Oh, this is nice. I'm so relaxed and chill. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God, it's so loud. Like,
Yeah. Can't hear anything. Your ears are ringing. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
switching to Geico. Normally I would be yelling right now, but I have to whisper for this crazy ASMR video. What is ASMR anyway? Anyway, if you have the ability to spend more money, buy insurance. You don't have it, you fucking poor fuck. Man, the Capitol looks so pretty.
Hilarious.
So what was your summer like?
What I was going to say earlier when you first started to talk about kind of thinking negative, and sometimes that's kind of self-propagate itself. I think it depends on the reason you became negative. Because sometimes we vilify what is not good. And I think that is biting us in the butt. Because
100%.
Without not good, and this is going to be a mind twister, without not good, there is no good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the good is always subjective, because the side that is not good to one side is good to the other side.
Yeah.
So that I think you're nail on the head, 100%. But I think that is why I keep focusing on what was that. Like January 6th, I told everybody, as I told you before, everybody that would listen, guys, this is the most important date in politics. Oh, really? Why? They're going to certify the results. Yeah, they're just going to say that we already voted and he won. I'm like, is nobody paying attention to what happened the last 4 years? Like, people are going to pull some stupid shit. And I'm afraid that they're going to pull so much crap and they're going to be like, the vote's fraudulent. That they're going to have some... See? And they do it. But the people that were there, if you listen to the interviews, they really believed they were there changing democracy. They believed 100% their vote wasn't counted. Their voice wasn't heard. And their official elected leader was being manipulated, and they were not going to stand for it. Some saw it as an opportunity to show force. Others truly, honestly believed, hey, we got to stand up for this. Our rights are being attacked. And the craziest part to me, I'll never forget this. I don't remember this. Weird way to start it. I don't remember the source. I think it was Instagram. But there was a video. It could have been on the AP. I don't remember where I saw it. But there was a video where a bunch of rioters and insurrectionists are marching into the Capitol. And there is a dude in a fucking Carhartt jacket and a red baseball cap. Not Make America Great Again, just a red baseball cap. And the whole crowd is pushing through the surge and they're going forward. And they're marching in and everyone's screaming. And this guy turns around with his hands up, opposite direction, and goes, no, I'm not doing this, and like leaves the group. And throughout the day, as you're watching the coverage, you can see different people make that distinct choice. You can watch the group surge and watch people just be like, well, wait, what are you guys doing? No, this isn't, we were just going to meet here for, what the fuck? And like in the chaos, there's pepper balls flying, there's tear gas, they're attacking police, and one, I'm going to be really stereotypical, country motherfucker goes against the masses like, I'm not doing this. Like the moment of clarity of like, what the fuck, guys? No. And how many other people in that group were there? How much of that shared mentality of like, yeah, I love my country and no one's going to tell me to like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Yeah. What is this? And yet Hillary Clinton, years before, calls all his supporters deplorable. Everybody on the Democrat side dismisses them. The Republicans are like, oh, they're radicals. They fuel to the fire. And then Trump comes in and he goes, nobody cares about you. And you love the Bible and Jesus and freedom. And we're going to take freedom, Jesus, Bible back all the way. Like, just plays into it. He fucking ran for presidency saying I could pull out a gun on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and still get elected. And look what happened. He ran for president in 1999. Did nobody remember this? It was in a Rage Against the Machine video. They had a fucking Trump sign in the background. He ran for president. He didn't win. Surprise. His name got back in the media cycle. He paid off some of his debts with that. He created a show called The Apprentice, not the vice president, not the second, not the CEO, The Apprentice, where you would work for free in order of gaining knowledge, using celebrities to propagate his entire Trump brand. He skyrockets in popularity, gets out of all of his major debt, gets out all these brand new fucking buildings, goes further into debt, never actually builds anything of quality and sustenance himself, but uses others to propagate his name and become his own branding icon, and then runs for presidency again so that the American people will pay every year for the rest of his life a finance. He is set for life on our dime. Whether or not they impeach him, whether or not they remove him from holding office, which is a double-edged sword. You didn't jump in to do anything except for 2019 to try to impeach him for the Russia bullshit. You don't ban him from social media platforms that have user agreements. It's not free speech.
Yep.
The illusion of free speech, never free speech. You wait until it's too late, and then you overcorrect. Has this country been, in my opinion, since the 70s, always steering against the skid instead of steering into it? Like, if you want to stop the car from skidding, you steer into the skid and let off the gas. We're punching the gas and steering away and being like, we're going to correct it. We got this. Hang on. And we just keep doing donuts, like fucking spinning out. And I got to look up how much the president makes. Presidential. Sorry. I love dead air.
I think it's 200,000 a year.
I'm gonna throw
Or
up.
right about.
I'm gonna throw up.
230?
I'm gonna throw up.
What is it?
I have to look.
What did you find?
I didn't find it. Presidential. What would we say? I gotta think of the right wording.
President salary.
Yeah, right? There you go. Thank you, sir. God, alcohol.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on.
Well, that's why I got you, baby. That's why I got you. Okay. The Secretary of Treasury pays a tax pension to the president. Former presidents receive a pension equal to the pay that the head of the executive department, executive level 1, would be paid. As of 2020, that's $219,200 per year.
Okay.
The pension begins immediately after the president's departure. The former president's spouse may also be paid a lifetime annual pension of $20,000 if they relinquish any other statutory pensions. And he has Secret Service protection. There's a transition committee. Staff and office. Each former president fixes basic rates of compensation for the persons employed for them, not exceeding an annualized total of $150,000 for the first 30 months and $96,000 thereafter. So that's his entire family, because all his fucking sons and his daughters were presidential aides and staffers and all that bullshit. So they're all getting $150 and then $96K per year. Former presidents are entitled to medical treatment in military hospitals. Then the pay for this is offset by the Office of Management and Budget. The two-term presidents. Two-term presidents by mental health. And then Secret Service protection. So you work in office. You get out of office. And you're set. Not uncomfortable by any means in today's society. I mean, Christ, if they're going to fucking put the threshold right now, if Republicans are going to say the threshold is for COVID relief that you had to make $40,000 or less, Jesus fucking Christ. You're making almost 3 times that as the former president. And for what? Leading the free nation? Being the point person of leading? Because you're not the only person governing. Mm-hmm. The presidency is not one man. Or woman. Or non-binary, self. What do they call that? Self. What is it called? Self identification, like self-identifying, which I don't understand that.
Gender identity.
I don't understand that how somebody can. Well, I don't, because I'm ignorant, but I don't understand how someone can get upset if you misidentify them if they self-identify. It's called self-identification. That means they identify themselves as. And if I'm not educated, I will identify them as I've been educated to identify them. So if before I meet someone, I don't have an understanding of their pronoun because they haven't informed me of that, and I misrepresent them, I'm not an asshole. I'm just ignorant because I'm not educated to your own personal self-identification. If we're at a mixer I don't know why I used Mixer. Could have just said fucking meeting. And everyone's got name tags on.
And the disco. Where the disco?
Sure, we're at a disco and everyone's got name tags on because why not? And everyone has their pronouns on their name. And I read your pronoun and I see that yours says other and I call you her. Yeah, then I'm an asshole. But if you're self-identifying and I'm not yourself, how the fuck am I gonna know how you identify the first time I meet you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go off the only information that I have, which is passed down to me, which is man and woman. And I'm sorry if I fucked that up. I've gotten people yell at me for saying miss. I had a very, very middle-aged, possibly borderline 50s woman a couple days ago at the grocery store. I was like, thank you, miss, for your service. And she's like, it's ma'am. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was raised to be kind. Like, if you just appear to be a little bit older, you use the nomenclature that's the younger generation to flatter. My mistake, ma'am. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was trying to be nice. Holy shit. We're drawing the line there.
Ma'am.
It's ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Fucking Jesus. Okay, I was just trying to be nice. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the culturally has to go through a transformation of how you respond to that. Because we never made this in a public discourse.
Oh, well, the Senate tried to. I didn't want to get started. If you're listening to this, I don't know why you are, but if you're listening to this, thank you. Number 2, go look up what the 117th Congress First Order of Business was. I'm not going to tell you. Just go look it up.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I try to let everybody know that listens, including myself, homework. I don't find everything out. I'm not a fucking tinfoil sitting behind the bunker, Alex Jones. There's black helicopters surrounding the building. I don't do that shit, but if I find something out that is interesting, I like to pass it forward. It's fun to do some research, man.
I don't draw this analogy to simplify the matter because it's a very complex matter.
Oh,
I draw an analogy.
Here it comes. You're going to Jordan me
to
right now.
Drive a point. It's like when you're coding, right? You're writing a code. If you don't properly identify an integer or a string or a Boolean, right, and use it later, well, the program is going to crash.
I don't know what you just
had the opportunity to introduce it.
I don't know what you just said, but it was fucking beautiful.
But you know what I mean?
So
no,
100%.
In programming, when you use stuff later, you have to say, hey, define x as an integer, or define y as a Boolean. It means 0 to 1.
Okay.
Or define sum up as whatever, right? So you have to identify it earlier.
So you're talking about critical analytic problem solving?
No, just in programming. Whenever you use...
No, but I'm just saying in general, that's critical analytic problem solving. It's looking at what is the occurrence? What was the intent? Did it execute correctly? Or was it incorrect? How do we improve it so that it executes correctly? It's problem solving at its basic, but just exponentially more complicated because it's technology that I couldn't comprehend.
But more importantly, to focus on that, hey, you got to introduce something properly in the start, because if you don't, you're going to mess up later. And I think we have an opportunity. And for example, when I'm in improv, we do this. I say, my name is Yo, he, him, his. And this is, so I properly introduce myself in the beginning with my pronouns, right? Because we put in a system in place, an environment where, hey, identify yourself properly earlier, so late. And I'm not putting the onus on the person. I'm just saying there's an environment element here where it's not a norm. It's not expected to do that, but it's helpful to do that.
Nor
so the program doesn't crash later.
Nor are you also putting the emphasis on how to identify you in a derogatory, demeaning way. You're doing it the same way as like, hey, my name's Yo. You're just like, hey, my name's Yo, his, her, his. Like, just throw it out there, he, him, him.
Yeah.
As quickly and as regularly as saying your name. Mm-hmm. And it's something that just has to be that. Yeah, and if the response back from anyone at any time in the communication is anything other, if it is a question, the person that is identified, that is speaking with a party, that has a query, has the social responsibility and obligation as a citizen to answer the question. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's derogatory in nature, like, oh, fucking blah, 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 why do you go by that? Sure, you don't have to respond to that. But if it's something as simple as like, oh, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Just the flip side for me is the ignorance or the entitlement, in my opinion, from not knowing it, of thinking like everyone should know,
Exactly.
right? And it's
Exactly.
just, well, no, we this is new to our culture. I feel like a boomer. I feel like my parents. Like, what do you mean text? You mean the 3-button thing? Nah, I want my flip phone back. I don't. My parents, again, and rightfully so, however it is.
Hey, somebody closed the parentheses, but they didn't open it
Oh my
anywhere.
God, yo.
There's a colon in here.
Stop.
What is this?
Stop. Oh, Jesus
Dad,
Christ.
it's a smiley face, Dad.
Yeah, well, the only color that I know was when you drain pasta in. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
I can imagine.
No.
But that's kind of part of the problem, right? So again, I think to clarify, I'm not putting the onus on the person to always identify themselves or say it's their problem.
Sure.
There's an environment problem, and the reason there's an environment problem because there's people who are gonna ridicule you for acting in a non-normal, quote unquote, normal
What's
procedure.
Being normal is stupid.
But change happens, and eventually there's another thing that pops up. And
How?
I go back to my point earlier about the negative thing, right?
Sure.
It's an existence of balance. The not good is important as the good itself, because that's what makes balance, right? And being negative, again, it depends on the reason you're being negative, is not bad as long as being negative is in the search of healing, of answers, of learning. And that's it. If that's the purpose, then you get that and you spring back. And that kind of movement between the negative and the positive, I think, is a healthy thing.
Yeah.
As long as you're not stuck.
Same would be flip side, yo, for being completely positive, being like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
I got food. Yeah. I'm working remote. Like, who doesn't fucking know how to work on the internet? You fucking lazy ass people. Whoa, you think you wanted to watch, like, you dismiss because you're so disillusioned of what can happen. And then you see the overcorrection with the summer when thousands, millions of citizens took to the streets in civil and uncivil protests and were met with civil and uncivil responses from police and other organizations, even other citizens. Yeah. People walking around in DC getting guns pulled on them by scared white individuals that are house owners fearing for their safety. Well, go inside your house.
Yeah.
Go inside your house, go to a secure room, or vacate your house. If you really feel your life is that threatened, if you really feel that endangered, and there is a mob of people at your front door, your response is the two of you are going to walk outside with an assault rifle and a small Derringer or 9mm and take on this mob. You're going to meet violence with violence. There's a mob of people you don't know, and there's two of you. Your best option at that time was to stand your ground outside. Some people, flag behind me, some people will say, you fight to rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Okay, or you assess the situation for what it is. Holy fuck, I don't have enough bullets if this goes south. I'm not going to escalate this situation. You know what? We need to get the fuck out of here, or we're going to go secure ourselves in here and prepare for the worst, alert the authorities, right? Well, defund the police suck, they're not here to help you, and that I'm right in the middle on that. The police, in my opinion, do not have the appropriate pay, respect, and training as a mass. If we're going to, if we're going to what's that?
Generalize.
Yeah, thank you. If we're going to generalize, the same training that the military
Who's
goes through.
smoking right now?
No, I'm not. I only had whiskey. I didn't smoke. I've been out of weed, man. We're gonna generalize. They don't receive the same training as the military, and why is that? They're the first responders. When something bad happens, you don't call the fire department first. You oftentimes call the police. You call 911. I can't. Can you fucking fathom what you would have to deal with on a daily basis? You're showing up to either somebody's worst moment in their life or possibly a mundane situation. You don't know. The amount of mental health calls you're getting, the amount of accidents, the amount of injuries, the amount of violence that you have to respond to as a first responder before a paramedic arrives, before a firefighter or EMT, and before backup. It's just you as an individual. and you don't have the same military training and regiment that those in the highest form of service in protection and defense of our country get, that's a systemic flaw in education. It's not the organization's or the individual's fault. We're all accountable for ourselves. I hold that to the organization. You don't need to defund the police. You need to re-educate and retrain and re-examine what the police should be.
Well, that term defund, I think, is a branding issue by itself, because the intent is, and here's how I love analogies, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure you have this at home. Do you know this drawer? Everybody has this drawer where everything goes in.
The everything drawer.
The everything drawer, right?
Yep.
And this, I think, as a community, how we treat the police. We made the police the everything drawer of our community. Yeah. We started to bump it into deal with this, deal with that, deal with that.
That's a good point.
And we have taken it way out of scope.
That's a good point.
And I think the term of defund is not necessarily to say get rid of it. Defund is, hey, let's look at this drawer. Let's remember what this drawer was for. Keep those things in there. And the other stuff, let's find a more appropriate place for it. Because police shouldn't deal with people that have mental issues or depressive behaviors, right? The police are dealing with them now, but they shouldn't. Right? People who have experienced homelessness, the police shouldn't deal with that. There should be other organizations that deal with that. But we put that in the everything drawer. So I think most importantly, training is important, but scoping is more important.
Are you running for office?
What do you mean?
You have such amazing insight, brother. I mean, you always have.
Thought process.
But it shows 100% into what you do for a living and who you are as a person and why you're successful in business and why you're successful in improv. Because that little fucking brain of yours never stops being it's just showing the difference of the two of us, where I go I see a problem and my brain focuses on what is that? And tries to think of all the solutions. And your brain goes all right, cool. So that's the problem. All right, well then the solution's got to be over here. Well, I'll just dance in the middle till we figure this out. You instantly can see night and day. Maybe not might be right, but to your scope, you go, okay, well if this is X and this is Y, I'm gonna go be A for a little bit, but there's still fucking vowels, or there's still letters. We'll figure this out. Yep. Whereas I'm just why the fuck is it all X's? It should be X's and Y's. This is stupid that we're not I know I get so impassioned by it, where your empathy is superseded by your creativity, and my creativity is often stifled by my empathy. That's why we work well together. That's why we play.
That's part of the balance, right?
That's why we played.
You got to have people that challenge each other.
That's why we played family members in D&D.
For the purpose of good.
Man.
That's why we need, like you said, the opportunity to come together and have a civil discourse, debate, right? Debate.
And
I think this is what we're supposed to talk about today. Because one thing I learned earlier on is that if I don't have the opportunity, because one of the things that is easily said but not done is seek to understand to be understood, right? But if I don't live that, if I don't go to your brain and try to say, hey, how does Chris? So first of all, I'm going to assume Chris always intends well. Whatever he does, he's trying to do it for a good reason. Now, that's a social good reason, a personal good reason. It doesn't matter. It's a good reason. Let me put his brain on and say, what do I have to think about for that conclusion to equal good? Okay. And then it's okay, so I think this is how Chris is thinking about it. And if I have the opportunity to argue your point, then I can argue my point. But if I can't argue your point, then we're not really debating. We're just shouting at each other because nobody's really understanding what the other person is trying to say. Words sometimes are deceiving. The meaning sometimes get lost. And if you're not focusing on the meaning and focusing on the words, then you can take this in any direction.
We had a presidential debate with the commander-in-chief sitting behind the Oval Office today. Speaking of unity, of kindness, of healing. And a presidential debate told his opponent, "Will you shut up, man?" And again, that's not rude. It's not the worst thing one can say, but it's in a debate, no matter how old, no matter how sweet it's said, the fact that one side is telling the other side to shut up, and rightfully or unjustly, whatever, you've lost the communication. If you're telling the person you're speaking against to be quiet, to dismiss them, you're either giving credence to their narrative by not having an informed opinion to retort against them, or you're just ignoring them because you're trying to belittle them. That wasn't the case in this. This was the case was like Trump would not shut the fuck up with nonsense, and Biden got frustrated and was a kind old man and did a grandpa thing of like, would you shut up? Like, go give me some candy. Jesus Christ. Get out. Yeah, get out of the... Give Pap the remote. Change the channel. You know, it's 7 o'clock. I'm watching Jeopardy. Fuck off. This is Pap's time. You know? Like, you lose the ability. I don't know. I feel our nation is beginning the steps. Again, what you see, what you project. It's what we're focusing on, right? It's probably not the case, but holy crap, we've at least understood that we're losing the platforms, or we're losing the muscle memory on what it means to disagree. And I see it with Erin. I'll talk with her about things, and I'll catch myself being, well, babe, like, am I not explaining it enough? And she was like, no, I explain what you're saying. I don't agree. And I find myself being so impassioned, not to have somebody agree with me necessarily, but to have her accept my point of view. That it seems as though oftentimes we're living in two different worlds because she's so fucking elevated in her clarity and resolve of like, I know we're going to get to here. Where my concern is like, but what are the stepping stones? And she's like, stones don't matter. Just focus on getting here. When you're in the marathon and you're an athlete, you're not going to focus. You shouldn't focus. Sorry, not should. That's a fucking terrible word. It would be beneficial for you not to put all of your focus in each half mile you're running. How long is your race? And where is the competition? Do your training, rely on your skill set, and continue to keep working until the race is over. Don't start to gloat and showboat and worry where the guys behind you. Just keep running. And if you see someone pass you, time to fucking run harder if you want to win. It's that simple. And I believe from my little ivory castle here in fucking Chicago, with all of my white privilege and my un-college education and all of the things I've been able to assemble in my life and the amazing family that I have and friends that am not grateful enough for and not deserving of, feel as though that we're losing, or we're giving up, which is even worse, our ability to debate and our ability to share ideas and our ability to disagree civilly. That was the one thing that really fucked me up this year. I learned that our country showing the world rather. And that's where it all projects for me. I'm just like, okay, you guys know this isn't internal, right? It's not just us watching our own shit. We're the ones that are like, we're free. Freedom's the shit. Best free market ever. And people on Wall Street Bets were like, hold my beer. What market? Like, and now the numbers are going down again for GameStop, and because they're nighttime trading. There's fucking shit that there's being traded when you can't trade. So it's not a free market. It's always been regulated. The SEC swooped in and was like, you guys are bad, but you got bailed out in 2008. We gave you our money to fix a system that you broke, and you didn't fix anything for us. So overnight, a bunch of radical internet trolls on Reddit message boards took down Wall Street? Yeah. Same way you've been doing it for years. It's the inability or unability for this country to go into a long, and podcasts are fucking, I think, the step back in the right direction. Presidential debates used to be hours, and it would be an open-ended question, and you could go back and forth, and it was always civil, but it was passionate at times. It wasn't just, here's these 7 talking points, here's a commercial, we'll be right back. Like it, there's so much weight behind the current machine and the way it's set up that it excites me, the ability for us all to move forward. We now know that every single move we make is tracked. We now know that every single thing we talk about is scrutinized, and there is no more privacy. Cool. Well, if everybody's listening at every given time, and if you say a couple keywords in the terroristic watch list, your call is instantly being recorded by the NSA, and those poor motherfuckers have had way too many conversations with me and my dad, being like, hey, we said some keywords. How you guys doing tonight? Hope you're doing good. Like, ah. If we know that everything we're saying is being recorded, and our data is our simple existence by owning technology is now a commodity, I don't see any way out of it as a society than relying on civil discourse, true speech in long form, unpleasant or pleasant, that is honest and representative to the society we're in order to educate all of the populace about what's happening. Yet, TikTok's fun, Instagram's fun, YouTube's fun, and how ironic is it that I'm speaking ill will of the platform that I'm posting to? Like, what? Where the fuck? Where are we? You know, what game do we create, man? It's not for us to solve, but we're part of it. We're living through history. We're always living through history, but this is truly historical moments, and there are truly historical things happening every single day, and our attention span seems to, again, projection, seems to be dwindling. So how do we go out into a progressive step forward without debate? I don't know. I know that I can talk honestly. Sorry.
I was going to say, I don't think you can go anywhere without debate. One thing. So back when I was at the university, when I was in student senate, so maybe I should run for office.
I'm telling you, man. You sound like you're. Yeah, that's a whole. That's
one thing I used to do when I introduce a resolution. So whatever's happening, each senator would introduce a resolution. This is what we want to do for the university, and then you work with the administration afterwards. Sure. We actually had substantial power, which was surprising for our campus. But anyway,
what school is this?
Huh?
What school is this?
University of Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah. In Champaign-Urbana.
Champaign.
And if I had introduced a resolution, so what happens is you introduce a resolution, people read it, and then there's a debate or a discussion, questions, amendments. You pass it or it fails, right?
And we wonder where your
there are
improv
moments
skills
when
come
you
from.
Introduce a resolution, and if there is no debate, if everyone's like, yeah, let's vote on it, I table my own resolution. And I say, please take your time to read it. Let's get back next time and debate it. Because from a group of 50 people, you ought to find one person that disagrees.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the opportunity to hear from the people that disagree with you, then you're going to continue to be more and more narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Because nobody's holding you accountable.
Yeah.
To keep you an open mind. They're not providing you with the resources to be an open mind. Agreed. So if you're not debating with me on it, then I'm not learning if this is going to be the perfect solution. This is what my proposition is. I know it's not the perfect solution because it comes from my point of view,
right?
Which is limited.
And you're coming to everybody else in the group of like-minded individuals saying like, "Hey, I had a thought. Prove me wrong." It's that fucking Dan Crowder method of like, blah, 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 change my mind. It's the same kind of thing. It's not as contentious, you know. You're saying like, here's an opinion I have. What do you guys think? Honestly, about a recourse. And there should be opposition. There always should be opposition. If we're all agreeing in lockstep, it's either, holy fuck, what an amazing idea. Look what we unanimously said. Bravo, yo, you fucking nailed our solution. And thank you, sir. But like we joked about, Edison didn't make a light bulb on the first attempt. But he had the courage to keep being like, well, I know a fuck ton of filaments that don't work. You know, it wasn't just like, shit, that's it. I had the idea and now it's never going to work. No light bulbs.
It's like, well, I'm super glad that the pubic hair idea was not good because I have only a limited supply of that.
It wasn't just him. There was another gentleman, Nikola Tesla, that had more. It's like, it's not always just one mind. And ideas, I don't know why I feel like this country got away from ideas as currency. But I think we're all learning now that ideas and words, if we forgot, really fucking matter. And that they are important. And that's why, You see Republican and Democrat, again, two-party system. Oh, aren't we a fucking joke? You see people on both sides of the aisle fight to condemn and punish versus defend and liberate the actions of the former president. Because if he's held accountable, if the system works and justice prevails, and someone that propagated countless acts of violence in speech and in rhetoric is held accountable for said violence, then the system works, and those that cause American citizens and the country harm are held accountable,
right,
as I was raised to believe.
Right.
Then those in power that backed said person would also be subject to being held accountable. So we got to defend Donald Trump's freedoms because, fuck, I don't want to go to jail, versus Democrats and other independents being like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense. I don't know why we live in, how can this country operate? It's like honest question of like, cool, do we believe in checks and balances? Yes? No? Okay, who doesn't? Raise their hand. Cool. So you, great. You guys think the country shouldn't live this way. Doors that way. Mm-hmm. You're free. Go ahead. Because this is how it operates. That's not for debate. This is how it operates. That's not going to change, and we're actually the people in charge of enforcing that. So if you believe otherwise, you can go anywhere else you want to live. You are welcome to visit. We just don't want you to have residency here because you don't believe in the same ideals that the founding fathers, rightfully or wrongfully, set up and wrote down. And we decided never to change those.
Yep.
The right to bear arms, a single shot rifle versus an assault rifle with a bump stock. How far we've come, but how singular we're focusing on the wording. Why? I don't know.
Technically, bear arms. It's
bear arms. Bears for arms. Family Guy cutaway.
So what the other side of that debate, and this goes back to like, what's the other side of that debate? I completely agree in the sense of like, this is what checks and balances are here for, and if you don't agree, you need to leave. The point of you need to leave, I think, is a little problematic because if I'm on the other side, this is what their people elected them to do.
Sure.
Right? And if you say you need to get out, basically we're doing the same thing they tried to do.
Absolutely. And you can't say that this
discount the people's vote.
And you can't say that the system that is set up here is the end-all be-all system. It's going to work this way for entirety. Right. But at the same time, if at its core you're defending the ability to be held accountable, and this country was supposed to be set up on accountability, even though it was incorrectly done, mass genocide. I get it. I get the hypocrisy of it. But moving forward, we're trying to believe in being accountable, even though we fuck up civil rights, even though we fuck up gender equality, even though we fuck up sexual identification. Like, we fuck it up at every chance. So this is our moment as a country, as a world, as every country's moment, to focus on the things that they have either lacked and allowed to break or have systematically broken in order to heal, reinform, and re-educate their citizens as to what their true ideals are. If we really believe in the stars and bars and freedom and justice and liberty for all, let's fucking show it. Because I don't feel like that. And this is, again, all of the privilege and all of the gifts that I have in front of my life that I'm not taking for granted, but am awestruck. And I've always been awestruck that so many others don't have the basic fundamental rights granted to them and have never had that ability. And if we keep going this way, will they ever? Well, why the fuck are we all in this experiment together? You know that, and that's the empathy in me going like, well, what are we doing? Where you're just like, we'll get there. This is progress, man. It's not always easy. Change is change. Change is never good nor bad. It is change, and everything will be. And the fucking only child in me is just like, just fix it. Like, the right thing to do is be kind. Do it. Well, you're not going to stop hatred. Some people are always going to hate, and others' opinions are important. I know their opinions are important, but we shouldn't hate anybody. We're not saying that we disagree, Chris, but you can't get mad at those that disagree with you. I'm not mad. I'm frustrated. It's a slippery slope to the same thing, but it's the right thing to do. Well, that's your belief. No, it's the fucking right thing to do. It's equality. Well, some people don't share that. They shouldn't fucking be here. Well, that's not being equal, is it? No. Okay, so we have to hear them out, right? Yeah. Do you want a juice box and a cookie? Okay. Okay. Yet I have
There's
the
a reward at the end.
I have the ability to get a juice box and a cookie. So many other people don't have a juice box and a cookie. And what the fuck is that about, man?
So I see the Senate and Congress as a symptom of governance, in the sense of, if you need to get rid of a problem, you don't get rid of senator or congresspersons. You, like you mentioned earlier, I think there's an opportunity to educate the people who brought them there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if you remove them, other people are going to come back to the same thing if the people are believing the same thing.
Yes.
I understand the checks and balances, but the other people don't believe so much about the checks and balances. Well,
No.
they're going to bring people that don't believe in checks and balances back to government, right? So that's why I think that's kind of I think I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I think more importantly about where do you target the effort?
That's
Senators, it's a losing battle.
That's where but it can't be, yo. I refuse to believe that, man, because if it's a losing battle, then our government is lost to us. And if our government is lost to us, real talk tinfoil hat, then we're lost as a nation.
Oh, but
and that's
important.
scary.
I appreciate you use the word government, because the way we're set up, government is government of the people.
Yes.
Not government of senators.
No, sir.
Yep. There you go.
Yep. I know. It's all us. It has always been us, even though there are those that are, again, elected to serve us. There is so much more behind the mask of election. Mm-hmm. There is money. There is corporate PACs. There's way too many shit to fucking name. It's not just Jimmy Stewart going to Washington to preach. It's not, well, I'm a senator of New Jersey and here I go. Or, my name is Bernie Sanders and I will work for the citizens of Vermont. We need to make sure that taxation is equal and representative to when you make your paycheck. Everyone should have the right to health care. And everyone should have gas in their vehicle should they choose to take a vehicle. If not, take public transportation. It's better for the environment. There's basic things that I believe all of us, and I'm wrong, but I believe all of us agree on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that's the case, and we know, just like you pointed out, that constituents in certain demographics, not to mention, again, I hate the fucking term gerrymandering, but that's what it's called, exists specifically for dividing up in the ability to control. But if we know that there's constituents that will be elected to office to represent the people that they speak for, and those people do not believe in checks and balances, then the money that we're paying for those people to hold public office and to govern is a complete waste and a sham. And you're setting up an institution that is no longer governing for the people. It is elected individuals telling the people what they want to hear, and that's not governance. You're supposed to represent the ideals, not cow down, adhere, and 100% give into those ideals. And in a time of crisis, true crisis, which this nation has been in for quite some time, but the pandemic is a completely different crisis. Our nation has showed our citizens we care more about the status quo and normal ways of... How many fucking times did the Senate take a recess this summer? How many times did the fucking House take a recess? They took a 2-week vacation before schools came back. They'd be like, you know what? School should be closed still. Are you kidding me? You think that that's good politics, to continue on your normal schedule in a pandemic, to overplay because you didn't want to play with the president, because you couldn't find reason and rationale with this guy? You didn't give him the pulpit in order to...
Yeah. And
I'm the crazy conspiracy tinfoil hat guy that says it's all systematically... It looks as though something happened in here. Something's going on bigger.
No, that's hard.
Something's going on much, much larger than what I think anyone is aware of. Or we really have fucking shitty leaders. And we really need to care more about those that we elect into office. And we need to create a national consciousness that is representative of the ideals that we all really adhere to and hold. Mm-hmm. And here's the scariest part, yo. What if we are? What if we're seeing exactly the temperature of our country? Right? What if we're getting exactly where we're at? What if this Senate, this Congress, this House of Representatives, this former president, the local governors, the wards, the aldermen, the IDES's website that isn't even fucking working during a like, what if all this is an honest barometer to where we're headed? If in a time of gigantic, fundamental public health crisis, America fumbled the ball. And instead of picking it up and throwing it out of bounds, we grabbed it, got hit, didn't get tackled, fumbled it again, picked it back up, ran back 20 yards to the goal line, fumbled it again, and then tried to throw it downfield. And now the ball's in the air. I don't know who's going to catch it, but I know there's a good chance it might be the opposing team. And the deeper existential tinfoil hat question is, who's the opposing team? Is it us or is it foreign adversaries? Because again, everything we're saying, this conversation included, is going out into space forever. The first broadcast ever to leave the planet was the Olympics, was Hitler's speech. We, as a human race, broadcast into the ethos forever. Hitler. Okay? And we're still just throwing information out there. And we're either alone or we're not. But to quote Carl Sagan, if the universe is just the Earth, I think that's how it goes. If God created if the universe is just the Earth, it's an awful lot of wasted space.
Oh yeah, I get that.
There's got to be something else out there. Mulder and Scully told us that, man. The truth is out there. There has to be more to believe, and there has to be more to do. And for fuck's sakes, man, we all got to be doing our part. And it feels good to talk about it, but it's going to feel even better to be part of it. So I need to start fucking volunteering. Everyone that has any passion to do anything with any of their extra time has to do something. And that's why, meager fucking stupid attempt, I started just recording at least what I'm going through while I got laid off, because I know so many other people are going through it. Almost 1 million people filed for unemployment in January. Like, it's fucking not okay. Half of my department got sent to Mexico. Not that I am shitting on the quality of the work that would be performed in Mexico. I am simply saying they chose a foreign country over American work for cost savings. Didn't even give the employees a chance to be like, hey, would you be okay with reducing your pay 75% or 50%? But we'll keep you on. It wasn't even a question. Just, you're gone. Not even a conversation. That's the same mentality I have for what is our country doing? What are our politicians doing? We're just making decisions without even having this informed conversation and debate. We're not taking the time to be kind enough to say, honestly, hey, so something's coming, and we're not really sure if we can stop it. But if you want to stay on board and you're prepared to sacrifice half your salary, we'd love to keep you on for quality. We just can't afford to pay you at the rate anymore. Is that okay? And give them the honest moment to make that decision themselves, instead of being like, business decision, we're outsourcing. You made a decision for me without my consent? Yeah. Cool. Thanks. That felt good. And how many other people are just, well, your bar's closed. Yeah, you should have fucking learned to code, stupid. Well, but what if they like being a bartender? What if they love being a bartender? What if their whole life was being a fucking restaurateur? What if their whole life was being a chef? And now in a time of crisis, they can't feed people? Their gift is to create food, to create a meal, a memory, a passion, to share an experience. And nope, not safe to do so. Well, you can have takeout, maybe, when we tell you we can't. But actually you can't. But you can. But you can't. But actually you can. But nah, it's going to cost a lot. But you can't. Now you can. We're going to open up again in a fucking couple months, and it's going to be weird, dude. Yep. Chicago's already trying to do it, and we haven't even given everybody fucking vaccines. Well, not everyone's going to take it because fucking vaccines are, bad. Science is bad. Or science is great. Or science is great, and everyone's being paranoid, and no one's listening to science. There's everybody has an opposite opinion, and that's okay. But where's the debate? Where's the civil discourse, and where is the reconciliation? Where is the ideas coming together at a confluence? Well, that takes time. Well, fuck time. We just lost a year. Like, we got to get moving, man. More citizens were killed last year by a disease that lives in your nose
Yeah.
Then we lost in World War II. And again, that's just us. We're going to the whole thing about America's the best. Russia lost 2/3 of their fucking population in World War II. It's not even, they were eating children to survive. Let's not even honestly represent history. Don't sugarcoat the whole stars and bars. America came in and we fucking showed it to those Nazis. Yeah, we also bombed a fuck ton of innocent people in Japan. So what are we doing?
Yep.
Got to be honest with what happened. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. But it's the country you were born in. So oof. The world looks at you like that.
The country you were born in.
Well, yeah.
Don't put me.
So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, just kidding.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. At least you got that out, man.
Change. I think change. That goes back to people have different point of views, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that point of view is, well, if you put it all together, establish what in statistics would call it the normal distribution curve. And if you want to influence change, you don't try to influence the whole curve. You go after, and if you know anybody in marketing, the early adapters. These are the people that are extremely open to ideas and experimentation. And they give you useful feedback into the usability of what you're trying to change, who will in effect take on the next segment of the normal distribution curve. And the opportunity of change is not to change the populace, but to move or skew the curve in a certain direction, right? So you're trying to gravitate people toward a certain direction.
Yes.
You can't change everybody.
No. Nor should you. Nor do you have the right to.
Yep.
All you can do is produce.
Back to our debate conversation.
Yes. All you can do is produce the information and have the conversation.
Yep.
I am not here to tell someone else how to live. All I am here is to offer my opinion on what I believe may be a better step of quality of life for all. I'm sure I'm fucking wrong. I better as hell well be, because I can't have the fucking solution. How crazy is that I'm the only person that knows what the fuck to do? Absolutely not. But if more people have conversations and we all have a civil discourse and a share of ideas, maybe we come to a formulated resolution that actually might not be the idea, but a pretty fucking okay one for the time being. And then it's up to the generation after us to find a better idea. Instead of it holding to like, well, you ain't taking our guns. I get it. Believe in freedom of speech. No, you don't, because you gave your rights away when you signed up for all these fucking applications. So, oops. Like,
it's like, do you still use Nokia? Come on, grow up, move with the time, say something new.
Nokia's going to be on the moon, man. That was Newt Gingrich, buddy. Newt Gingrich. Oh, yeah. Everybody laughed and was like, "We're going to colonize the moon." And then,
of your ideas earlier on, and again, you probably recognize now that I love analogies. And again, I think the bad thing is it simplifies it. So hopefully, it's not
bad.
For simplification,
it's the storyteller in you, man.
The ideas and the lack of ideas, right? We need more of them, because it's almost like sperms trying to fertilize an egg.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of them, but only one has to be good.
Yes.
Only one has to get to the goal.
And guess what happens?
The other ones can fail.
Once it gets to the goal, the work starts. Like, getting to the goal isn't the end result. Then you get to see what you create along the way. And then once life, the full idea is fledged out, then you get to run with its entirety of its growth pattern to see how it advances over the years and what it becomes. Because it's not just a singular thought anymore. Like, technology didn't just be like, all right, we got electricity. We're done. Like, it advances because humans advance. We're not the same race that we were. We're not the same society. We're not the same people that we were when we came out of the primordial soup. And we're not the ones that are going to return back whenever Judgment Day comes. When Terminator takes over, man. We don't have any more
steam engine cars, you know?
Well, we should. Actually, we should be doing hydrogen.
It's like, okay, maybe not all innovations are great.
Hydrogen.
That introduced me to the definition, what I think, and going back to where I provided you guidance on the ideas you proposed to me earlier, a few days ago. Successful person is not a person that has working ideas, because that is not representative of the person experience that became successful. A successful person is the person that didn't give up when their ideas didn't work. Once you give up and you stop learning, then you fail. If you, and this is a term I used before, if you become complicit to your failure, then you are a failure.
That's beautiful.
But if you say, hey, that just didn't work. Why didn't it work? I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to try it again. I'm gonna try it again different.
I
I'm gonna come up with another idea.
I
You
was
keep going until you fertilize that egg, and there you go.
I was raised by two hippies. One was a research scientist, one was an OR technician for their professions. And I grew up with, give everyone the benefit of the doubt, treat others like you treat yourself, be kind, speak softly but carry a big stick, and I fuck that up quite often. But most importantly, the one that I really took away, my father taught me at a very young age, was trust but verify.
Oh, I love
Trust
that.
but verify. Like,
Love it.
what does this look like? Hang on. 10 minutes of work and research. Yeah, that checks out. Versus like, well, my math doesn't add up. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, how did you get your math? And then you sit down together and do the math and you go, oh, fuck, we're both wrong. We're doing the math incorrectly. Or, oh, fuck, this part of your equation is wrong and this part of my equation is wrong. So let's formulate how to do the math together. Because if you're not collaborating, and like you just said, and you're only in a unified, singular loop of feedback, you're fucked, man. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. But it feels comfortable because everyone's agreeing with you, so I can't be wrong. Everyone says, look, this is the way to be, right? Well, do the uncomfortable. Like my therapist had told me. Again, fucking white privilege, my therapist. But like my therapist told me, Chris, if you're advancing yourself and you're really focusing on bettering yourself, and right now we're trying to tackle self-love because I don't fucking have it. I'm working on it, but I don't have it.
I don't either.
Doing the steps to better understand who you are is going to feel uncomfortable, and it should. If it doesn't feel uncomfortable, you're not growing. And I was like, ew, okay. So I'm going to fuck it up along the way, and it's going to feel weird and awkward. Yeah, because it's new for you. You're learning. And when you learn, it doesn't always feel comfortable, but it doesn't always mean it's bad. And that's why I had to learn the errors of my communicational ways. I wasn't wrong in the things that I was trying to speak about at work. I wasn't incorrect in what I anticipated what would happen. I was wrong in my execution. But I know that now. It cost me income in a pandemic, which is scary as fuck, but it gave me clarity and returned my mental well-being back to me. So you know what? That sounds like a wash, baby. That sounds like a wash.
Yeah.
I wonder how many other people are out there going through the same thing, or how many people have gone the opposite direction, where this has only propagated and exacerbated the frickin' problems they had. They were barely hanging on mentally, barely hanging on physically, and that job was keeping them going, and then that gets removed. To take away a man's job, not man, but man's job, is essentially equivalent to killing him. It's killing him.
And
it's killing him.
A human's job.
A human's job. To take away a livelihood from a human essentially is the tribe saying, you are less than, we are outcasting you. We do not want you here anymore. We don't want you for the hunt. We don't want your guidance, elder, be gone, dismissed. Versus the opposite of you being like, I'm going to go find another fucking tribe because you guys are not on a hunt. Deuces, good luck. And you go and you formulate your own tribe, That feels better. Because you still know, like, I can hunt. I'm valuable. I'm fast. I'm efficient. I will be a good survivor. Instead of like, well, how the fuck, what do I do? But that's part of life, man.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person I was when I was 6. Thank God.
I hope so.
Well,
jeez.
There's a little bit of that in there.
Oh, I mean, it's not that you're completely a different person from your 6, but you're not the same. I
not
hope
the same
so.
person. My other one, my dad said, fuck, was it the other day? He's the oldest he's ever been, and he's the oldest he's ever, right now, is the oldest he's ever been and the youngest he'll ever be. In this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment, and it just continues to keep going forward. What are you drinking, by the way? I forgot to ask you. It's a nice little glass of wine. Classy. Ooh.
Look at that.
I bet Gabor would approve. I'm not good with wines.
It's Cat Frank from. Is that best Cat Frank from Toscana? Chinon Lastras, 2018.
You're a classy motherfucker no matter what you're drinking.
It's from France.
Of course it is, yo. I expect nothing less than you. You've got mood lighting in the background. There's a guitar on the wall. You've got cats in the house. You've got your own professional recording studio, even though you don't want to admit it. You're slaying it at work. How you doing mentally, man?
I'm getting there.
Yeah. Does this kind of shit help? Or does it make it worse? Does it hurt when you talk about stuff, or does it feel better like getting it out?
Oh, no. It doesn't hurt to talk about stuff. I think it's, for me, it kind of goes deeper than that. It's just kind of like the circumstances of where I was, where I am, where I might be. Just there's a lot of questions and very little answers.
Reflection.
So I'm getting in the process of being comfortable with them.
You know what's funny? Earlier when you were saying in the beginning, you were like, "Yeah, I anticipated for like a couple months or something like that." And in the beginning, Aaron and I having the conversation of her. I don't think it was, if I'm recollecting correctly, I don't think it was the same outlook she had about like, yeah, well, go back in a couple months. But me, being like, babe, we're not going back in that office for a couple years. And her being, in the beginning, her being like, really? And I was like, guys,
like March?
Yeah, like I was like, guys,
wow,
like I love everybody. Get some food. Make sure you have like an extra month. And in the beginning, like when they were saying, when the information was that there were outbreaks in meat packing facilities, I was like, all right, we're buying some extra meat this month. Like whatever our diet was at the time, whatever your diet was, I was just paying attention. Not doomsday every minute, but extra alert. What I didn't ever pay attention to was the finance and the markets, because I don't invest, I don't play in that stuff, and I need to understand and gain better knowledge there to be ahead of trends. And maybe the GameStop, again, the GME stock was the purpose to have all Americans be like, hey, if we're all playing the market, then they're not going to win. So everybody invest in shit. Even if it's tiny and it's meager, just show a force, right? If we're all doing this together, we're going to output the people that are fucking abusing the system.
Yep.
But I remember telling everybody, even my parents, and they were just like, oh, you're just being paranoid. And I was like, okay, this is going to reset stuff. Like those of us that are able to work, thankfully, or thankful enough to work remote, we're not going back into offices. And if we do, it's not going to be the same way that it was, because just do some studies on biological pandemics and stuff, and it doesn't go back to normal quickly, and it's always going to be around here. And if I know one thing about our country, it's we don't always handle things to the best of our abilities. So like, oops, there's Cheeto. Hi, buddy. Oh my God, I miss you. Oh, there's the kitties. Man, I miss my Ginger.
You're not purring anymore? Okay.
He's dead. You got to pay me for that stuff. Mumbles gives it away for free, but Cheeto's a classic. Look at his. He looks like Simba right now. He's got his arms off the sides. Nasa Benya, buddy. Oh my God. What has been one of your favorite habits with the babies? Do you guys start anything new together? Any new routines you guys have?
With these babies,
yeah.
I put a shirt on them.
Classy.
Hold on. Let me see that.
Swap the bow tie for a shirt.
Come on, wear your lumberjack shirt here, sir.
Oh, you were talking about this yesterday,
Sir Cheeto.
Sir Cheeto? He got knighted? When did I miss that? What the fuck?
No, he didn't, but he should.
He absolutely should.
Somebody tell Princess Diana.
It's okay. We can arrange it. Or we can. He can take over Sir Sean Connery's role. Can dub him in there.
There you go. Let me. There's your cuff. Okay. Hold on a second.
Super appealing to the visual listeners because there's. Oh my. That's a cat. That is a lumberjack cat. Look, he's so kind. You're just picking him up and he's like, Dad, come on, man. It's 10:40, bro.
Look at that.
Oh my God. Your cat's a hipster.
Look at that.
Oh my! And you live in Wicker Park. It's fucking fitting, or Bucktown. Now Dad. Look at that baby. God damn it! I miss hanging out at your place, man.
That's probably one of the things we should do. I only put one button on, so it looks weird.
That's fair enough. No, I like with the one button. It looks way better with the one button. It's so much sexier.
You can go now.
He's like, I came up here for that. I wanted pets. I don't want to be put on
display. Take him to an interview soon. He's interviewing for a job, so he has to wear a shirt.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, someone's got to pay the bills, man. It's going around. You know?
He has to eventually pay the bills as a shirt.
Brave new world.
Right, Cheeto? Where'd you go?
Cheetos and Mumbles are going to get their own. They're going to get their OnlyFans accounts.
They need to.
Yeah.
That's why I got the camera. Got the camera for them, I think.
Right. Yeah. Them. I won't tell anybody if you don't.
They just gotta keep it off.
You were saying earlier you have with improv. Have you been doing any improv?
Oh, improv.
How the fuck is that going online? Is that rough?
That was the
delay and
world.
everything. Yeah.
Man, IO permanently closed.
Yeah, I would bike. I'd bike past it quite often, and I would scream at the top of my lungs, "I miss you!" every time I bike past it. Every time.
That was fun, but And that goes with like something kind of the theme I think in general. Ooh, I think my mic is too loud. A theme in general is that things die, other things come in place. You know, so
Adaptability,
this
man.
IO thing goes, something else is gonna come.
Adaptability.
Improv will propagate.
And
Improv
it'll
will,
come back. Don't get me wrong, but it's what it comes back as and what it decides to be moving forward.
because the community is there. The
Absolutely,
community
absolutely. If the
the outlet
people
from
still
it.
hold breath, the ideal is still alive. Absolutely, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to the day where I can resume to live other people's lives.
I can't wait to watch you live other people's lives every single minute. And not just by yourself with the cats, but in front of an audience of other humans with that
At
energy,
least
sharing
one
that
human.
experience, cheering you
Yeah.
or jeering you, however the night may go on, giving you a the energy of a room full of humans.
Yes.
No matter what the art is. No matter if it is music, visual, comedy, poetry, written, verbal, oral, display, it doesn't matter. Just I like biggest thing, one of the things Aaron and I were talking about. I was like, fuck, I miss walking through a museum.
Oh, yeah.
I miss going on a Saturday and getting local food and going to a local museum and just immersing yourself in culture for a couple hours and forgetting about everything else going on in your life for a couple hours and just being like, that's a dinosaur, or that's a Picasso, or just like your brain just being whoop, flooded with information it can't comprehend, and just staring at knowledge and realizing that you're looking or you're partaking in something that other humans have created. And then improv is just watching other humans showcase the speed of their brain and the depth of their understanding of human interaction on full display. Pass or fail. Just there it is. And some of it's recorded and it's passed on forever.
Yeah.
But there's something extra sexy and extra energetic about that night where that one line happened and everyone remembers it and you had to be there and it'll never be created again and it was a moment in time and oh fuck, man.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to my definition of being successful, because the mentality, one, you have the confidence, even though if it's made up, but two, you have the mentality that whatever happens, none of it is failing.
Yeah. It can't.
Everything is leading you to the next point.
Are you still breathing? Are you still moving? Well, then you're not failing.
Make the next move.
Did you hurt anyone? Have you hurt yourself? Okay, then you're not failing. Because
Then keep going.
you're only failing, like you said earlier, you're only failing if you're not learning from the mistakes and you're not understanding what you're doing. I would be in the same pattern of failure to the way that I was working had I not been laid off. Had I continued to allow to operate the same way I worked in the past 3 jobs, I would have left that job and been like, it's always the fucking management. Nobody fucking understands. Instead of being like, oh shit, I don't see things for what they are clearly at work, but I try to see them in my personal and life that I can't control. But I could control everything that happened to me in work, and I even wasn't incorrect in the things I was anticipating. Oh wow, I am a lot smarter than I give myself credit for. Why do I think I'm a dumbass? And just introspectively focus on that part, you know?
Yeah. The growth aspect of it.
Fuck, growing up sucks.
That's the uncomfortable piece.
It,
that
it
your
has to be
therapist is
though,
telling you.
and if it wasn't comfortable, you wouldn't learn from it.
I think that also true for me. Another conclusion as of late. I understand the pandemic has been a terrible occurrence, and a lot of people have suffered. But
Countless.
for me, I go back and reflect, because the person that I was before the pandemic, this person that went to the office, went to improv theater and stayed there until the midnight hours, slept, woke up, did the same thing day after day after day, realized how much little attention I give to myself. How much little attention I give to my self-growth, my self-worth, which, to your earlier question, I'm still working on a lot.
We all
But
are.
the pandemic gave me the opportunity, the slap in the face to say, wake the fuck up.
Did for all of us. It did for all of us, yo. And you either rose to the occasion, tried and failed, or shunned from the occasion. Those are the only three outcomes. You either were like, yep, I'm better than myself, 100% full stop. I'm going to always do that thing I always wanted to do, and here I go. You went in the middle where you were like, I'm gonna try. No, I'm not. Huh? No, I'm not. Or you went like, fuck this. It isn't real. Bullshit. Keep going. Full court press. The way it was fine. Those are the only three responses we did in this country. I think I was a little bit of A and B. I really hope I wasn't C. I tried to stay away from C as much as possible because the inner, I don't know, optimist in me, even though I don't sound like it, there's a lot of pessimism in me, but the inner I'm optimistically pessimistic. I try to be I hate the fucking term, a realist, but I'm an opportunistic realist, I guess. I don't know how to say it correctly. But I'm someone that believes in like, what was that? Okay, cool. Well, do we want to do that again or do we not? Versus, nah, everything's fine, or I don't know if we can ever do that again. I don't know I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, and that's okay, because it's scary and it's a fight or flight response. And some people have had life experience to build them up to that point, like David Goggins, where he's like, "Fuck you, nobody gets me down. Keep moving, stay hard, keep focusing." Or you have people like those that fully believe the QAnon, that think that those in the elite drink baby blood and they're Pizzagate and we're going to take down the country and it's all the game. And
the meme about what you just said about being optimist, pessimist, or in this case, realist, was because, like the adage of the glass half full or half empty. So the meme around that, to what you're talking about being realist. So this says the optimist would say, hey, the glass is half full. The pessimist would say, hey, the glass is half empty. And the realist would say, guys, I think this is pee.
See, that's so funny you bring that up. I was talking to Mario earlier and I had the same analogy where I was like, one of the reasons that you and I are such good friends. Oh, sorry, Dr. My eye got focused on a recording earlier from Dr. Ziki from the Public Health Department in Illinois. She's talking. Sorry. Yeah, C-SPAN's on all the time, folks. Sorry.
Is that the same thing you put on shawarma, the sauce?
Oh, God. Ziki sauce? No. Ziki sauce? I was talking to Mario earlier, and I was telling him, like, I think one of the reasons that you and I are really good friends and always have been, Bud, is that both of us understand it's not about the glass being half full or half empty. It's that knowing that you have a glass, and our questions are always, well, what's a glass made out of? How big is it? How much can it hold? What are we putting in there? Is it solid? Is it liquid? Is it frozen? What are we doing with the glass? Does it have a crack in it? What's the foundation? Where'd you buy the glass from? How old is it? Like, so many more questions about the receptacle versus, well, does it half full or half empty? I'm like, there's thousands of other questions. You're only going to ask two? You're only focusing on, is there in it or is there nothing in it? Like, there's so much more, man.
And it's very situational because
Sure.
If you're thirsty, for example, and the glass is half full of water, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Right? But if you're, let's say if some incident occurs and your house is on fire and the glass is half full of petroleum, that's not good.
Why not?
Half full is bad.
Why not?
It needs to be fully empty because it's going to make the fire worse.
Or,
you know what I mean?
Or you can direct the course of the fire by throwing the petroleum in the opposite room, buy yourself time to get out the other way.
Oh, selfish reasons.
You fight fire with fire. No, I totally get you, man. I'm just being a dick.
No. But I guess it's not only situational, but also, I guess, to what you just said, and this is part of the growth, right? It's also the response. What's the intent? The situation, the outlook.
I remember always pissing my parents off as a young kid with that same analogy because they'd always say, the glass is half full or half empty. And I'd be like, it's a fucking glass. How big is it? Like, what is in it? What kind of liquid is it? Is it frozen? Is it solid? Because it's going to turn into a gas, so the glass is always going to, at some point, if it's just water, become empty, right? Like, oh, Chris, you're overanalyzing. I'm like, no, the metaphor's stupid. Like, you fill it up, but it's going to empty itself. Are you consuming it or is nature consuming it? It's going to go away, like at some point. And again, you're putting water inside sand. You took sand and you heated it together and you made glass. What?
Yeah.
What?
Which technically, if you want to talk something very trippy, glass by definition is a very, very viscous liquid because it's it is still in its form, a molten sand
Yes.
particle. Whatever.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why when you see old buildings, sometimes you see a ripple on the old windows. That's because it's responding to gravity.
It's going back to nature. It's producing itself back to its former state. Hey, absolutely.
I just thought of a fourth category, though, for the glass. So you have a pessimist, a realist.
Okay.
An optimist, a pessimist, a realist. And I just thought of a fourth category, and that's a cat. And the cat is cat because the cat is just going to, like, teeter the glass over to the edge of the table and just throw it. You know what I mean?
You broke my fucking brain.
Doesn't matter. It's like,
no,
and it's just like, I'm just gonna throw the glass to the ground.
You broke my fucking brain. It's only a glass to us humans.
Point of view.
Like, exactly. We call it a glass. We came up with the word. The Phoenicians developed the language that then we expounded upon with every generation, and we all uniformly agree GLASS means glass, and that's what you put things into to drink or to consume, to hold something, right? GLS. And we think that, no, this is a pen, this is a microphone, this is a speaker. Cool. Yeah. Does my dog give a fuck what we call any of this stuff? Probably not. Her set of priorities are far surpassingly different than mine. And who's to say she's not living a more beautiful life?
Oh, I bet they are.
Fuck, man. I want to come back as my pup. Yeah. I definitely want to come back as an animal on the next go around for sure. But not in a factory farm. Oh, I want to come back as like but I want to come back as a long living elk or like a deer. I want to have a good, cool life. Although come back as my pup would not be wrong. I would love to be a dog. I'm a fucking dog in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this 100% believe in everything in my being, in my soul, that this is my first go around in nature. This is my first step into the cosmos because I have way too much of an inquisitive mind. I'm a puppy. Everything's like, what is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? What is that? And everyone else around me is like a 10-year-old shepherd. Like, dude, calm down. They're going to bring a ball. You're going to play some fetch. You'll poop in the house in the winter. They're going to get mad at you. It happens. I'm like, really? We can do that? Oh, this is cool. What about this? Like, everything is exciting to me or terrifying. I don't have that wisdom of like, yeah, I've been sniffing asses for 30 years, kid. This is how it goes, man. You pee right here. Speaking of asses, what's up, Mumble?
Yeah, look at that.
He's so classy in his black and white. I'm Buddy. Shut the fuck up. That's the coolest cat. On command.
Everybody has to be a dog first before they become human.
Oh. And we're not going to be able to go to the afterlife until those cats let us go.
Oh, yeah.
The guardians of the underworld, man. If the pharaohs were afraid of them, holy fuck. The power.
What if they were more organized before, you know?
You don't think cats are?
Like a gang.
You ever seen fucking outdoor feral cats? Holy shit. The ones in the neighborhood have taken down birds. We put up a bird feeder in the summer, and they were like, "Oh, cool, free food." Yink! Every week they just take out a bird. There were pigeons all over the fucking yard. Get up in the morning to walk the dog, and you're like, "Fuck!"
And they were like,
Go look up how much a feral cat will kill in their area if let loose. They're just fucking. It's not about survival. It's territorial. Of like, you don't step in my sandbox at all. Understood? Doesn't matter what it is. Like, you're going down.
An interpretation of Mafia in the spirit of cats, you know, like a...
That sounds like your next improv
like
endeavor.
A Don cat, you know, just...
The fattest cat that gets carried around by his humans no matter where he goes. The humans always picking him up.
Smoking catnip,
oh my
like
God.
a cigar.
Oh my God. He's got two smaller cats that are just as, like, half as fat that can kind of waddle through as his muscle in the back is the Etsy. I come to you on the day of your daughter's wedding. Jesus fucking Christ. They're putting rat heads in beds. They're scared of the other cats. Instead of a fucking horse head.
Oh, that has
to There you go. You got to make it. So we got two things for you tonight. You got to do Godfather Cats, Catfather, and you got to do ASMR advertisement reads. Yeah. You should do it, man.
15 minutes.
What do you want to do? You want to sit behind a fucking desk? You want to sit behind a desk and keep working for somebody else, or do you want to just record some commercials like this and make a lot of money?
My opinion is that you're always working for someone else.
Did you say your opinion or your penis?
My penis.
Your penis is always working for someone else.
Yeah, always.
That's the way it should be. Yeah. Never work for yourself. unless you're working for yourself. You're always working for someone else. Even when you're working for yourself, you're working for someone else. Why?
Exactly
Because you are not tethered to your ideas, and if you continue to only operate by them, you're lost.
Yeah.
Got to learn.
You get it.
Got to make mistakes. Well, we get it, but how many other people do get it? And again, we think we get it. Mm-hmm. What if we're not even close, yo? And what if we're in the wrong direction? Fine. Who the fuck knows?
That's fine.
Yeah.
And that's like, it goes, it's like to being comfortable not knowing. I am comfortable. I know what I know today. I am comfortable not knowing what I have to know in the future, because in the future, I'll get to know what I know in the future. For right now, I know what I know today. I'll act and react and respond for what I know today, which will probably be very inappropriate for what I will know in the future. Sure. But that's okay, because this is what I know today.
And let's hope that nobody, including yourself, robs you of the experience to go through that. Because again, as scary as it is right now, and as big and as hefty as it feels to lose your employment to no fault of your own, and your work is not a factor, not even a saving point, not even a question. And this sounds so fucking yuppie of me, but I wouldn't change this experience, because what I've gained, the clarity I've received, I cannot, with my comprehension, my limited comprehension of the English language, I cannot string together words to properly articulate the knowledge and the gratitude that I have for someone else taking the courage to perform an action I was too cowardice to do for myself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It set a course, a chain reaction, just like Keanu Reeves, that made me better myself and rise to an occasion yet again, instead of continuing to operate like the dog in the fire gif. This is fine. I know everything's fucked around me, but this is fine. Like it's okay. At least I'm getting paid. It's going to be all right. And they might lay off jobs and oh crap. And well, and also what my wife would tell me, you get what you put out there. If you continually think negative will happen, you're going to trap yourself into negativity. Mm-hmm. And she keeps telling me every single time that something crazy happens in the fucking news or whatever that I'm complaining about the week before that, isn't in mainstream media yet, and then it shows up there. She goes, will you quit using your powers for bad and start using them for good? I'm like, there's no way I am singly creating these events. And she goes, really? Because all you talk about is that. Look what happens in the news. I was like, well, yeah. I'm just finding sources and patterns that before they begin. And she goes, uh-huh. And what if you were doing good stuff with that? Probably good stuff. So go do good stuff. I'm like, okay. Holy discipline. Speaking of good stuff, you and I have fucking rambled like a bunch of old biddies for almost 2 hours, man.
1:56:48.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's the timestamp on the recording right now.
Good God. Do I look pretty?
Yeah. Incredible. Especially on this rendition of the video, because I shrunk the video down into that space.
Even better. Sorry if my lighting's been bad.
Because here you're on many inches and I can see
is that
the noise.
Should I have done this the
but
whole
in
time?
here it looks great.
Is that, now I'm illuminated.
Look at that. Actually, yeah, this is much better white balance.
I don't want it. I like the negative.
Coming from the dark.
It's so bad. All pixelated.
Dark web.
Look, dude.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this
Can we do this more?
And one of the things that I always try to aspire for is, and one of the things that always gets us, was because it's one of the things we always aspire to be perfect, and that's terrible. Yeah. Because perfect is a numbers game.
It's also an illusion.
Extremely hedging your bets against you.
It's an illusion you create, and it can be something so simple as based upon jealousy. Like, what is perfect? And how do I know right now that everything I fucking have isn't perfect to somebody else, man?
But if you say, you know what, good enough is perfect, then you're increasing your odds of feeling better about what is happening.
But if you say...
Because...
Okay.
What's good enough? What's that threshold? I don't have to be perfect. And that goes back to the saying of, what is they say, practice makes perfect? That grinds my gear. I have a few... adages that grinds my gears. This is one of them.
Practice makes perfect?
Practice makes a habit, right? The more you practice it, the more you get in the habit of doing it, but not necessarily in the perfect way. Unless you do perfect practice, unless you're kind of always checking, hey, am I doing it correct?
If you're doing perfect practice, then one would argue that you're no longer practicing because you're executing at the highest level, so you're just doing perfect. There's no more practice.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the difference. If you're just practicing, there is no feedback loop. You're just repeating the same thing over and over and over again. You're not checking or assessing, hey, is what I did in the right direction? Mm-hmm. If not, you adjust, assess, and do it again, mm-hmm. but now better.
You have to.
This is what perfect practice. Then you'll get perfect, which is good enough. Otherwise, you'll get a habit. But anyway, I digress. This is in the sense of like us trying to get married to the perfect ideology of things. It's like, just throw it away. Good enough is perfect. As long as things are progressing in the right direction, keep at it.
You're mirroring the same shit I'm trying to work through: self-love and acceptance. Those are the two. I wrote it down the other week when I was playing D&D with the nerds. In the middle of a game, it came to me like a fucking alcoholic moment of clarity. I was like, oh my God, my acceptance is my downfall. That's what I need to be working on. I can't accept the reality that I live in. I can't accept the reality of the state that my country's in. I refuse to believe that we've allowed ourselves to get this far. I refuse to believe work would go this way. Like, it's my acceptance of being like, hey, your intuition's pretty fucking good. You want to start listening to it? All right, cool. Take what you're given. Take your opinion.
You sounded like a drill sergeant. I love it.
Take your opinion. Take what you're given. Take your opinion and do the fucking thing your father trained you to do. Trust but verify. You dummy. When did you forget to start doing the math? Trust but verify. And math doesn't have to be mathematical.
Try to repeat what you just said, but in a drill sergeant way. Like
forceful. I don't want to wake Aaron up because if I do it, I'm gonna scream. You know me. I'm gonna go full bar. I can't help myself. That's why the dog would run every time. Every time we play D&D, that's why. Well, no, that's not a risk I want to take because I know that outcome. I've done that before. We know what happens. I'll wake the dog up. I'll wake Aaron up, and it's not gonna be good. She has a fucking 6 a.m. meeting. I gotta fucking wrap this up because I don't want to keep her ass up. I know I've been louder.
All right. Well, what's your conclusion of this conversation?
I don't have one because this isn't the last conversation. We're not done.
No, but for this conversation,
for this one,
what are you taking away?
That I inherently feel better talking to somebody, even if my words are just rambling. I inherently feel better making a connection, and I have deprived myself on being honest and truthful with my friends in such a dire time because I felt that I didn't want to add to anyone else's, like we said earlier, I don't want to cause anybody else strife. Everyone else has their own problems that they're focusing on. Everybody else has their own level of concern. And all I ever want to be as a friend is an open door and a place where anyone can come and talk to, and I can be warm and inviting and hear and create a conversation and at least for a moment distract or speak with, right? But I forgot that I need to do that too. And that having a friend is a two-way street. So if they're not reaching out and I'm not reaching out, are we really friends? Yeah, but you're not doing your friend a disservice. You're not doing people you call your family a disservice if you're not treating them as such. So I learned that I, for far too long, acted inappropriately based upon, again, my internal instincts. And I'm going to walk into 2021 and have been trying, not so good in January, but trying into 2021 to take away as to, again, trust but verify, follow the instincts. If it feels good and it caused no others harm, in my opinion, it must be the right move. And if it's not, you'll learn. What about you? What'd you take away?
Well, to add to what you just said, you have not failed until you stop trying, right?
Yeah, man.
But I think most importantly, my reflection on that is I always need to expand my horizon because some of the things that you mentioned, I didn't know about some of the things that you were talking about earlier, in the sense of like who knew what the response was.
That's my bad, dude. I'm you know me.
Oh no, this is perfect because that always kind of like at instances you think you know everything, and if I was like, you know what, I don't know everything, and I need to check myself every now and then. So you provided me with an opportunity to say, like you said, trust but verify.
Trust but verify, baby.
But also, don't be so arrogant for myself to think like I know everything. There's always things that you don't know. So I appreciate that.
And thank God, whatever God you believe in, whatever form, whatever religion, thank God that there is another human on this planet that does know more than you, and one that knows more than them, and one that knows more than them. So we're not all just like, yep, that's definitely it. That's the answer every time. Because holy crap, would that be a weird world to live in?
Yeah.
That's what Twitter is, but whatever. Well, and not Twitter.
I woke up in a free country, so I don't wear my mask. Anyway.
Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Or is it broken? I think it's broken.
What is this?
Oh, it's Darth Vader, but he doesn't make any noise. He's dead.
What is it supposed to make?
It's for the mask. That was gonna be funny, but you know. Then again, are we gonna make light of over 400,000 people being killed? Pre-existing conditions.
To this podcast, again, a word from our sponsor. What was our sponsor?
I thought it was Viagra.
Oh yes. One pill, 4 hours. Ask a doctor.
If you want to stay up late and listen to Late Off, take Viagra. But if you're a woman, we won't subsidize your health care. We won't pay for your tampons or your birth control, but we'll pay for guys to get an erection. Sorry, people that identify as a male to get erections. This is the country. This is the country you live in. I'm not kidding. It's not a joke.
Actually, Chris, I just got an email from Viagra. They just changed their slogan.
What is it?
It says, if you're tired of the political turmoil and you want to rise up, take Viagra.
Shit the fuck. Oh. I miss you so much, man.
That's what it says.
God, for everybody that doesn't know, and we'll, hopefully if we continue this silly experiment, get to know over time, Yo and I instantly bonded over the fact that the two of us, without having children, are dads, where both of us are like room clearers with the stupid level of the jokes of just wait for it. Every time. God damn.
If your insurrection lasts more than...
Oh no! Don't.
Oh. If your insurrection lasts more than 4 hours.
Side effects may include QAnon conspiracies, dissolution of the governmental regimes, and thinking that Trump is the end-all be-all.
Ask a doctor.
If you're tired of sitting in a bathtub with your significant other. No, that's Cialis. That's the wrong fucking pill. Sorry.
I think you went too personal with that. Anyway.
I did. No, it's the Cialis commercial. The two old people holding hands in the bathtubs in the fucking mountain. Like, take Cialis. Right. We can fuck because we're old.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's okay. Yeah. So next time. So, and my takeaway for next week is to write ad copy for our Whisper campaign. And Mumbles can be our spokesperson. We'll just fucking tumble Mumbles.
You would come in burring. Oh, that would be perfect. Perfect back base. All right, my man.
Hey, dude. Thanks for giving up 2 hours of your time.
Oh, this was great. I appreciate it. It was fun.
I don't even care if this goes nowhere. I just want to talk to you more.
Hey, are you going to stay up for a few more minutes?
Fuck yeah. Keep swinging. Be well. It's Laid Off.